Hello, buddy. We are back again. Look at this, pretty soon this time. I had the itch to record this pay-per-view, this Vengeance 2006. So here we are with episode 5 of my Extreme Revival, aka 2006 and Beyond mod run of a Pro Wrestling Sim. I forgot what the game was called for 2 seconds there. Pro Wrestling Sim is the game we're playing. I'm so used to saying TEW that it was starting to roll off my tongue. And of course, Bill is here, who you just heard laugh.
Yes.
I thought you were going to stay
We're here
silent.
for a fun game of Is It Better Than the Cope Open, which I could be watching instead of this.
Yeah, I kidnapped Bill away from watching some AEW, so we'll see if Bill regrets this decision. Hopefully not. But we are simulated to June 25th.
I mean, I just watched The Learning Tree, so it's probably better than that.
Fair enough.
You have the advantage of following Jericho.
Nice. I timed it perfectly then. June 25th, 2006, we are simulated 2. We're going to hold Vengeance 2006. This is the only show we're going to do this episode because pay-per-views are bigger shows. We're probably going to spend a little more time, maybe talking about stuff going on, but then
And Brian hasn't booked Raw yet.
I also have not booked Raw yet, thanks for exposing
I'm
me.
not letting you get away with seeming like this is planned.
Well, you know, it's half planned, half happy accident. So, yeah. Anyways, let's move into the show. I will try to click this fast so you don't get spoiled too much. Start that bad boy. Come on. I mean, you'll get spoiled on the side screen anyway, but, you know, whatever. So, open the show. Remember, from Raw, and from me teasing it last episode, we had Bret Hart meet Shelton Benjamin backstage after being revealed as one of the general managers of Monday Night Raw. And we had the announcement that Shelton Benjamin was going to be defending his IC title at Vengeance. And to answer the, it wasn't really an open challenge, but Bret Hart's hand-picked opponent for Shelton Benjamin tonight is none other than his former teammate Charlie Haas, who was also on the Raw brand in 2006. So I couldn't really pass up on popping this at some point, so I figured let's pop it here.
I'm amazed how bad the wrestling was in that match.
Charlie Haas is not up to snuff. I put too much pressure on him. Shelton could
apparently, even with him not being up to snuff, I have trouble believing those two could pull out a 1.5-star match.
Yeah, that seems really low, and I even if his wrestling ability isn't as high as Shelton's, I feel like Charlie shouldn't be out of breath in 2006.
No, probably not. And I think a final score of 58 is fine for that because I don't think people cared about either one of them in 2006.
Shelton was doing decent in 2006.
I don't think anyone really cared. Charlie was super dead. But I don't think people really cared about Shelton.
Charlie was so dead I forgot he was on Raw at this point.
So did I, actually.
I assumed he was still
I thought you had hired him.
No. I assumed he was still on SmackDown at this point, but no. I thought he came to Raw in 2007.
Yeah, so either way, the 58 is believable, but I can't believe they had a 1.5-star match.
I'm happy to see at least that Mike Rotunda's doing good as a road agent.
Yeah,
that's good because I don't think he's he's not like one of my top tier ones. I don't think so.
I think all your agents have been doing well.
I mean, they're all. I think the lowest is like high 60s maybe. So it's not like I have any terrible agents. Next up, we get Randy Orton cutting a promo. Randy was not scheduled for the show. He's just kind of holding the show hostage a little bit. He's taking things into his own hands. And he starts talking. He wants to remind everybody about who he is. And who he is the Legend Killer. So any damn legend, any so-called legend in the back that wants to come out and get their ass kicked tonight, come on out here. And I'll show you what the present in this sport is. And so, who answers the call but Ric Flair? Woo! We get that beautiful music hit. And we get our
You're
matchup.
just bringing up.
What?
You're just bringing up all the old teams and making them fight.
Evolution is a mystery. Oh well, yeah. Rick struggling for breath. That's fine. That's
That's to be expected at this point. Rick was definitely starting to fall off.
I think I did push him a little past his threshold too with this possibly, but this scored really well in terms of the actual scores. I mean, the match quality, whatever, but
The match quality is about what I would expect from those two in 2006.
this was big for Randy. A nice pop change here for Randy, and
Yeah.
Rick didn't lose any, so this is perfect. This is actually all I could ask for from this matchup. I pushed it and went 15 minutes, and Rick's more suited for 10, so that's great.
Yeah, I believe that because Rick was in a bad way at this point.
Yeah, he was. This is when he fell off again after finding himself a couple years prior. But yeah, well, a few years prior.
I think, I don't think this was like a mental fall off. This was just where
This was when his
body got to the point where it just couldn't do it anymore.
This was chubby Rick.
Because he never rebounded from this condition. He'd have good matches once in a while, but his average match quality from this point on has always been terrible.
Yeah, exactly. So this is here. I'm pretty much reestablishing my direction for Randy Orton with this because we saw him face Sabu on Raw in an ECW Legend. That was the first tease that I was gonna lean in back to the Legend Killer gimmick, and that is.
It was one of his best gimmicks.
Yeah, I mean they struck gold early on and then they just threw it away. So I'm going back to it. Fuck it.
And you're having him beat some actual legends, like he beat Foley but then he beat a lot of like guys that had no business. That's who I was thinking of, Slaughter. Like guys who had no business being in the ring anymore. Yeah.
I remember he beat Kamala on a random SmackDown. That was pretty wild. I think Brooklyn Brawler came in for it too. Like he's a legend.
I mean, he's a legendary jobber.
Yeah, he's the greatest jobber of all time. But like, it's not really the exact.
Not really a feather in his cap to beat him.
Yeah. So yeah, but anyway, Randy Orton starts to go a bit too far off the match and is still kind of attacking at good old Ric Flair here. So who comes out to save him? But the guy we saw team with Ric Flair a few weeks back on Raw as a mystery partner to take on. Oh God! Oh, it was Edge and Foley. They took on Edge and Foley a few weeks ago on Raw, a couple weeks ago, and Ricky Steamboat, the Dragon, reappears.
And I'm assuming that's your next pay-per-view's legend.
And runs off Randy Orton. Whoa, Bill. Don't spoil my program. I'm just kidding. So, this segment is two parts. There is Randy and Ricky engaging in a quick brawl, and like they just get separated by a couple guys. And probably good for Ricky with how amped up Randy is at this point, but Ricky's got some fire here. He can still throw out his fire spots, as we've known from that infamous ROH spot where he arm drags CM Punk. And then we get Bret Hart coming out onto the ramp, and he just cuts a quick promo on Randy and Ricky and telling them they need to separate right now, and we can solve this on a different night type deal. And Randy, like, he might throw in a remark like, Randy's already ate up enough time on this pay-per-view that wasn't scheduled for him, so we need to get this dealt with. So we break apart, and we get our World Tag Team title match for the night with the return in D-Generation X, facing none other than the Spirit Squad members, Nikki and Mikey. Of course, the biggest attractions on this pay-per-view. And, whoa... No,
I mean, it's the best match on this pay-per-view so far.
Actually, it is. It's kind of crazy. I mean,
not really. The Spirit Squad were all good wrestlers. They just had a bad gimmick.
True. And it's
WWE presented them as a joke, but I mean, they're good workers.
And Nikki's on the team, so that helps too.
Yeah, the only thing I might have done is sub Mikey for Kenny.
I wanted the actual champions to be in the match this time. This feud...
No, that's completely fair. I just that would be maybe what I'd do to try to get a little higher match quality.
Yeah, this feud isn't over though yet, so we'll see what happens to come. But on this night, Triple H and Shawn Michaels are indeed your new WWE World Tag Team Champions. And this is a diversion of real life because they didn't win these titles in 2006. And this, technically now in this alternate reality, is the first time that Triple H and Shawn Michaels held tag team titles together instead of 2009 to have to wait until. So, a fun alternate reality fact for that. Because anytime DX held tag belts, it was the New Age Outlaws. Or X-Pac may have held it with H at some point or something real fast, but it was never Shawn and Trips.
Yeah, they were trying to keep DX away from the tag belts.
Yeah, until they got the Outlaws in the group. All green here. This is beautiful. Spirit Squad didn't even lose popularity. This is a never.
I don't think the Spirit Squad could lose popularity being in the ring with DX.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, those guys are so much higher up the card that just being put in the ring with them is a boost.
Look at the boost to H. Holy shit!
That's shocking.
A little behind the scenes, I did have him as the one getting the pin here, I think. So
that would be why, but that's surprising that he was able to get that big a popularity boost off of fighting the Spirit Squad.
That's a pretty big bump. That's nice. So yeah, DX won the belts, and we go backstage where we get Todd Grisham interviewing the brand new World Tag Team Champions real fast. Ask them how they're feeling, blah blah blah. They say they're on top, feel like they're on top of the world. They're planning to hold a special celebration tomorrow night on Raw. And then Bret Hart kind of walks into the room. He's kind of like, congrats guys. Congrats guys, and I hope to see you guys be fighting champions type deal. And there's still that like awkward tension, that unspoken tension between Bret and DX, especially Shawn, since
It could be interesting if Bret's otherwise a babyface authority figure, but he just keeps fucking with DX because he can't let go of his thing with Shawn.
Well, we'll see where it goes. And lest we not forget that Bret is not the only general manager of Raw. We also have Shane and Stephanie with power as well. So I know there's a lot of Bret Hart early on here, but don't forget about them. They're always, whether they're booked or not, they're working in the background. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, there's that unspoken tension there, and Bret hopes to see some fighting tag.
Phoning it in from Jacksonville, are they?
Tomorrow night we're gonna get a special Bret Hart intro overall. It's gonna be done in pink and black. Oh shit. Oh man. That's beautiful. This also, by the way, good rating.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
I mean, anytime you have three of those guys, they even increased Todd's popularity.
Yeah. Trips actually lost 0.1 in North America, but that's fine. He had a huge gain anyway.
That's probably for associating with Todd Grissom.
I would also like to point out, so yeah, Todd is our interviewer for Raw. I'm going to make him. He is also commentating for Heat, but that doesn't really matter. And I said I revealed last episode that the SmackDown was Josh Matthews. And technically Matt Striker is a Raw superstar, but he has worked so far as the ECW interviewer, and I think he might do both. I think is what he's gonna do. He might even move over to ECW officially here soon, but we'll see. Like he did in real life. But yeah. And I would also like to point out this is Bret's first popularity uppage since his debut segment, I think, because he kept losing pop so far. So that's good to see him gaining some back.
Yeah, I think that's the danger with authority figures. It seems like this game docks people for being in segments with lower rated wrestlers.
Yeah. That's probably why he kept losing the pop, is because of that, like you're saying. So,
because there's no reason Triple H should be dropping popularity here, unless it's that probably Bret and Todd are both beneath him.
Next up, we get what I'm sure is going to be the best matchup of the night here, folks. I'm sorry.
I'm not watching that.
I'm sorry. I couldn't even make it through saying it. We've got Kane versus Imposter Kane because I've got to commit.
That match is about better than it would have been in real life and way too highly rated.
It's a half-star match, but rated got 70. It got in the 70s for its scores. That's incredible.
I mean, WWE is an entertainment product, not a wrestling product.
Yeah, we could tell the crowd was fucking into this. Imposter Kane is fucking killing it.
He's fucking buried. Regular Kane, though. 1.2 down in both North America and Europe. I haven't seen anyone lose over a point of popularity in this game so far.
He took such a hit. Oh my god. This is what happens when I commit the shit. I will refuel.
I tell you, you should have just had Kane murder Imposter Kane on the first episode of Raw and pretend this stupid angle was never a thing that happened.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, everybody, but I had to see Imposter Kane through. Imposter Kane goes over. He did win F Edmonds 2006 in real life. I will refuel. At first, I just had Kane suck. Kane was unhappy with this finish, by the way.
No shit.
And at first he was just gonna have to suck it up and eat like a cheap victory, but since the finishes update happened, that small finish update, I chose the specific finish of Imposter Kane used an exposed turnbuckle towards the finish. So I'm thinking he threw him in head first into the exposed turnbuckle, then dropped him on his head with a tombstone. That's what I picture. But yeah. Anyway,
I don't know if I'd trust Luke Gallows with a tombstone, to be honest.
Well, he popped him out in this angle, so.
Yeah. And I've seen Glenn Jacobs' politics. He's not as smart as everyone gave him credit for when he was wrestling.
Well, where's the link of the top 10 worst chair shots? Shout out Hangman Adam Page. Anyways, let's move on to the match we saw announced from ECW this past Tuesday, with our TV title quarterfinal matchup, a pretty special one here, with a lot of history as well from the original ECW days, where we get Mick Foley versus Mikey Whipwreck. Foley with a good pop, a negative half-star, quality matchup. Perfect. But still,
you managed to stink it out worse than Imposter Kane. Congratulations.
That's actually pretty impressive. I put too much on Foley is why. And final, though, I mean the scores are still good. So I'll take it. That's fine. We don't care about the stars here, okay? Who cares about those stars? But anyways, Mick with a good jump.
I feel the need for a palate cleansing Tokyo Dome show.
Flashback to when Bill said, "I hope this is better than the Cope Open I could be watching."
Yeah. Narrator, it was not better than the Cope Open.
And we look at this middle stretch. Actually, the higher up.
Actually, this stuff has been pretty good. It's just not good wrestling.
Yeah.
You've been getting good reviews on everything.
I think my booking is good, but the match is terrible.
and let's be honest, mid-2000s in WWE was not exactly a high work rate period.
Yeah.
I was looking back at some of the cards recently, and I'm just like, oh god, I can't believe I remember watching all of these shows and liking them. I was looking at them, and there's like 2 people I might want to watch wrestle.
Now, in my head at this point, Foley is playing on the hard. He's more anti-hardcore and kind of leaning more into being that sports entertainer and paired up with Edge and blah blah blah. So I think.
Oh yeah, he'd be going super goofy.
So I think during some of his matchups at this point, we're gonna pretend that Mr. Socko comes back here, I think, and
oh yeah, he'd be dancing around with Socko and stuff, get everyone distracted, and then haul off and kick Whipwreck right in the dick when the referee wasn't looking.
Now after the matchup, Foley is taunting Mr. Whipwreck and kind of gives him a couple boots before we see the return of Tommy Dreamer, and Beulah is Beulah distracts Foley by coming on the ramp, and Dreamer comes in from behind through the crowd with Cher or Kane, doesn't really matter. And
it would definitely be a Kane if it's ECW.
I was thinking Kane. Dreamer comes into a Singapore Kane and starts beating the shit out of Foley with it. I
can't help but think the badass gimmick Mick Foley has there is like sarcastic.
Yeah,
it's in quotes.
I didn't realize he had a badass gimmick. That might hurt him some of the time.
I mean, it's working really well with the angle.
I thought he had a hardcore gimmick, but maybe there's a hardcore aspect because I looked at his. Oh, I think it's a stat he has that's a hardcore stat. I'm thinking of. That's what it is.
Probably. But yeah, I'm picturing that being in air quotes because he's doing his anti-hardcore like corporate champion thing.
Oh, these segments are in the wrong order, by the way, but it doesn't really matter. Everything's here that technically needs to be, but it's just in the wrong order. Solid. This was just me getting Tommy back on TV, ready for his TV title match, TV tournament match against Christian York on Tuesday, which is also announced by commentary at this point. You guys haven't seen the brackets, and you're not gonna see it until the first round's done because I didn't want to spoil anything. But yeah, so Tommy's back. He's returned, back on TV, ready for Tuesday night, and got some vengeance on Foley, who, remember, took out Terry Funk, and Terry Funk has not been seen since. And Tommy, in that sit-down interview on ECW after One Night Stand, kind of revealed that we'll probably never see Terry Funk again, and he will get his vengeance on Foley and Edge for that. So, yeah. Next segment is the Mickie James Women's Championship title defense. And we didn't have an announced opponent for tonight, but it was Ashley Massaro that I gave the chance to see how she would do. And actually, she did fine, besides being a little out of breath. So, but otherwise, I'm happy with this for a women's match 2006. They outperformed match quality-wise 2 other matches on this on this show, so I will happily take this. And of course, Mickie James has successfully retained the Women's Championship. And remember, the crux of this matchup was Mickie was going to show why she's the Women's Champion and send a message towards Stacy Keibler's way, a SmackDown superstar, as Stacy has been saying how she wants to have her bit of redemption as a wrestler. And get
I'm not surprised this match did well either, because Mickie is a fantastic worker.
Mickey's great, and honestly,
Ashley was pretty good. She was only held back by the fact that she didn't want to do porn.
Well, Ashley was green.
Because she was getting a good push until she wouldn't do. Yeah, she was getting a good push until she wouldn't do Playboy, and then Vince got mad and buried her.
Well, there was another thing that happened that I'm not gonna talk about here too. That was also something that fucked her up. But yeah, Ashley, rest in peace, girl. You're underrated. Poor.
Absolutely.
You deserved better. I liked Ashley as a kid. You're probably gonna see me push her a little bit because she was underutilized. She could have done more. So yeah.
Oh yeah, she could have been. She could still be going strong if they had kept her push up.
Yeah. Next up, we get backstage again. Oh shit. Oh, I forgot I made that decision. So Jonathan Gresham is not the only Raw interviewer. Jonathan Coachman will be doing some interviewing, going back to his interviewing days, and taking up that role again a bit. So I'm going to switch between Gresham and Coachman for the interview.
I would rather see Coach doing interviews than on commentary.
That was the decision. I didn't want to put him back on commentary, so I let him do interviews because he might as well be used. But
he was a good company guy. His character was just annoying.
Yeah, he's better suited in this role. And Coachman is backstage with still the women's champion, Mickie James. And Mickie cuts a little promo, a good promo, a very good, great promo, in fact.
Mickie was a fantastic talker.
Yes. And Mickie was doing some great promos in 2006, even if some of them were very much wild with what they were doing. But yeah, Mickie just cutting a promo on Stacy and being like, I told you I'd show you why I'm the women's champion. You think you're gonna take this title from me? Well, we'll just have to see what happens. I'll even come to your show. I'll see you at Great American Bash. Short and sweet and effective. We now know we're getting a women's title match on the SmackDown branded pay-per-view, Great American Bash. It's going to be Stacy Keibler versus Mickie James. We'll see if Stacy gains any momentum going into that show on the upcoming SmackDowns, and we'll see if Mickie has any statements to make before then as well on Monday Night Raw. And holy fuck.
We finally got a good match.
Well, thank God it was the main event. I didn't expect the scores to be that high. Even though it's a stacked match, I still didn't expect it to do that well. I mean, it's not like the match quality is terribly high as like the scores, but still. We have our main...
It's got 2006 John Cena.
True. Fair point. Fair play.
Like peak 5 moves of doom John Cena.
We got our huge triple threat main event here. Dual world titles on the line. The WWE title and the ECW title on the line here. Rob Van Dam defending his belts against Edge and John Cena. And RVD does retain his titles here, beating both men, getting the pin on Edge tonight after Edge speared John Cena off the stage and into some tables below, taking John out of the rest of the matchup, and RVD kind of got to take a little advantage of Edge being a little hurt too, eventually getting Edge on the mat for a huge frog splash. Lita got taken out in a bump, I'm going to say an announce table bump at some point. I did set it up so there was big bumps in this match for the three of Edge, Cena, and Lita. So that's why I'm telling you about the bumps that I'm picturing right now. RVD killed it with his performance. Edge, as always, put in huge effort. Cena got the star power. And there's the major spot. Like I said, I put a major spot in here, so that's where that came into play. They stole the show brilliantly. They were the perfect people to get the work rate going. The big spot. So there's the two different spots, like I said. We'll say the major spot is when Edge speared Cena off the ramp, and then the big spot was when Lita went through the announce table. And the crowd was in love here. Let's see the damage. The damage is not too bad. RVD, an alright boost. They took a little hit, but not as bad as it could be. Kane. So yeah, I'm very happy with this main event. This is everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah, it went very well.
Everything I wanted that main event to be.
This game seems easier to get 100 rated matches in.
It is. I can tell you that from just running shows off of.
Yeah, because I've been playing TEW for several years now, and I've never gotten a 100 rated match.
They also rate stuff.
I've gotten a couple of 99s. Yeah, that's true. I've gotten a couple of 99s, but I've never gotten 100.
I don't fully understand how it's balanced, but I do kind of like the idea of there being like a crowd reaction, an actual full final score.
Oh, I do like that element, and I think TEW has it. It's just hidden.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense for like WWE crowd reactions far more important than match quality. But if this was a New Japan show, it would have bombed because they're looking for match quality there.
Yeah, the work rate would have been shit for a New Japan match, unless it was like 2010 MVP and Rob Conway, Big Star era.
Yeah. or they were doing some wild gimmick match, because that's also where Kenny Omega wrestled a blow-up doll.
Well, that was in DDT, to be fair.
Yeah, you're right.
DDT was the company doing all that wild shit, and still are doing some wild shit, to be fair.
I think he did it on like a DDT New Japan co-produced show too.
It might have been a co-produced one. I just know a lot. He did a lot of his crazy stuff at DDT.
Yeah, I know it was technically under the DDT banner, but like New Japan was working with him at the time. They were all right with that stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, I mean, let's see.
That's why I don't like it when people get all mad that a work rate company does something sports entertaining, or entertainment company goes and puts on like 5-star classic match that's just for the match quality. You got to have both.
It shouldn't be a this fin. Like, we're getting real for a second on wrestling talk. It shouldn't be a this fin or a that fin when it comes to wrestling. They should intermingle and come together to make a beautiful package.
Yeah, exactly. You need something for everyone.
That's when wrestling is at its best. When the wrestling and the storytelling are both great, that's when you're really cooking.
Yeah.
And not every portion of the show is going to have both mixing. You can have portions of the show that are just great matches. You can have portions of the show just great segments. It doesn't have to be all combined either. You should have a mix of everything, realistically.
Yeah, exactly. You can have Gunther going out and trying to have a 5-star classic and slap someone's nipple off. And then you can also book Seth Rollins to come out and be Seth Rollins for 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Let's end the show. See our rating. A nice big 679. I think we can get as high as 80. I think 80 is as high as we can get.
If that's your cap, you did pretty well.
So, considering if that is our cap, then we're cooking. We normally on shows, we only get... Our TV shows are only in North America, I believe, for all 3 of them right now. All 4, technically. And we normally only get a 0.2 bump, but from this pay-per-view, we've got a 0.4 bump in both North America, and we have coverage in Europe, for a pay-per-view as well.
That's probably going to be the next big thing you have to do, is try to get more global coverage.
I was waiting until after this pay-per-view at the earliest to look into some of that, so I don't know.
Because it seems really weird if WWE is only in North America.
I
know in this era they were all over the world, because they'd always run down and brag about all the channels they were on.
Yeah, that's exactly the era where they would show all their different commentary teams and shit, too.
Yeah.
I think what I'll do is, between this and the next episode, I'll look into some deals off camera, and then when we start the next episode, I'll show the deals that I made so people see it, and then we'll go into the Heat and Raw next time. We'll end this show officially and see if we get any news. I mean, we'll get some news. Martin Curry presents the world of wrestling. I actually will keep that in mind. That's a talent from the UK that I'm a fan of. He's pretty good. ROH held best in the world. We'll take a quick look at that. Rockstar Spud versus Kenta. Keep in mind, that
would have been a good match.
It would have been,
because this is 2006 Kenta,
this is when
not
Kenta was good.
Modern. Yeah, not modern, broken down, boring Kenta.
This is when Kenta was one of the best in the world. I think that's part
and
of our...
Spud is way better than people give him credit for.
True. We got Doug Williams versus Chad Collier. I don't know how you say that.
That would have been a good match too.
I mean, it scored a 70, so that's pretty hot. Pure Championship.
If you like pure graps, that would have been a match for you.
This is the this is very interesting, because I've signed some people you guys haven't seen, and this actually kind of spoils that if you know who the ROH champions were around this time. So the new ROH Pure Champion is none other than Christopher Daniels beating Jimmy Rave. They may have had to make 2 new champions on this show, with the Pure Champion and the World Champion. Actually, I think they also had to make new tag champions, because I think the Briscoes, who we saw debut on Tuesday, might have been tag champions at this time.
They were tag champions at that time. Unless they had dropped the belts since the game started, because we haven't been looking at what ROH has been doing on their shows.
I have kept my eye open on the champ. I know the Pure and World titles were just decided because I signed their champions. And I'm pretty sure the Briscoes still had the belts until this show as well, but there's a chance they lost them in like the last week. But either way, Joe and Alex Shelley are the champions. Actually, I think they did win these like last week or something. I think this is their first title defense, now that I think about it more. And it was the best match of the night. Pretty based.
No.
Versus Generation.
I mean, this is an insane card. It's only 5 matches, but this is an insane card.
And actually, you know what? The fact that ROH can produce this card after how much I've ramsacked their roster is actually pretty cool. I'm happy to see that I didn't completely screw them over.
Well, a lot of the guys they're running on this card wouldn't be good in WWE too. Like Doug Williams would suck in WWE.
Yeah.
Joe flopped in WWE in real life. Daniels would probably do bad in WWE.
He flopped because he had nobody behind him, though. He always excelled when they let him do.
Yeah, he was given something, but can you realistically say 2006 WWE would have pushed Chris Daniels?
No, I was talking about Joe.
Exactly.
Though.
Oh yeah. No, Joe could have done good if he had people behind him too, but Vince took one look at him and decided he was fat and lazy.
Yeah, I thought.
And they already had Kevin's. Yeah, and they already had Kevin Steen for the fat lazy guy, so they didn't need another one.
Yeah. And in the main event, we had AJ Styles beat Shima for the World Championship, crowning a new champion. After that was ROH needed to vacate their titles for certain reasons. If you don't know who the champions are, I'm not telling you because I don't want to spoil my product. But if you know who they are, you've just been spoiled. What else is going on? TNA versus WWE. I'm sure we're beating them in everything. Yes. It is not a war. Oh,
it was never a war.
Oh, there's drug tests again.
Yeah, the closest to a war there has been... Oh, god damn it, Jeff.
It's only
it was just pot.
Just have a calm talk with him. I don't really care that much about soft jokes.
Yeah, I don't care about pot.
Chris and Morley are...
Oh, god damn it.
I've already... They're literally already suspended, so I'm just gonna do nothing this time, because, like, I can't just keep suspending them every week. And this game is fucked on its drug testing.
Yeah, this game tests drugs way too... It catches people way too much.
You don't get tested weekly, and at least not in the 90s they were testing weekly at some point, so after the trials were
you don't get tested weekly when you're suspended, that's for damn sure.
That's for damn sure. So I'm just gonna do this for now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my own rule that they're gonna have some type of after they come back from this suspension, I think they're gonna have a grace period, and then if they fail after so much time, then they can get another punishment or something.
And that's fair, because realistically they'd be hiding it really well when they came back, if they were still using it at all.
Because this has been crazy that those two
they have popped too many times.
Those two,
like, that's not...
Those two have popped every week.
Yeah, that's not believable.
And this is the second week in a row that this game is spoiled that I've hired Jeff Hardy. So, I haven't debuted him yet. Calm down, game. The War Report. But
what I was going to say before your guys got into drugs again is, of course, TNA is not in a war with WWE. Even now, where AEW is the biggest, stiffest competition that has been in North America since the death of WCW, it's not actually competition. WWE is so huge that no upstart company can come close to them.
No, and I mean the fact that AEW is as strong as it is, being only 5 years old, is very fucking impressive, and kudos to Tony Khan.
Oh yeah, it's good for how old it is, but it's not a war, and anyone that tries to present it as such is either longing for the glory days or misguided, because even if everyone that watches AEW completely quit watching WWE, which doesn't happen, it would be like less than 1% of a hit to WWE's audience.
To be fair, I don't think it could fully ever be a war anyways, unless AEW is a public company.
I don't know. I think they could compete on a private level. But I think they would need to be so much bigger.
I think they
would need to be global and like drawing 20,000 people a week to their shows.
I think they can technically on a private level, but I think in terms of like the type of company that is being run, like
I don't think they want to be a challenge to WWE. Because to challenge WWE at this point, they would have to move beyond being a wrestling company and move into being a multimedia company, and I don't think they have any interest in doing that.
Yeah. And AEW is perfectly fine as what it is.
Yeah.
And there's always room for improvement on some aspects, but it's
of course, but there's one product I watch and one I don't. Spoilers, it's WWE I don't watch.
Yeah. The most WWE Bills watched in years is this run that I'm booking.
We're doing it from 06 when I was watching it. If we were doing a modern day one, half of the episodes would just be Ryan explaining to me who various people were because I haven't watched in 5 years.
CUC, Riddick Moss is. No.
I legit don't know who that is.
I know. But people who know.
I'm explaining to the audience that like I legitimately have no clue who you're talking about or what the joke is there.
That's even an irrelevant joke now because he got fired in one of the last matches. So yeah. But we've come to this point. I think that was a solid Vengeance pay-per-view. Great main event. Mickie also, I'm kind of glad I put them semi-main because she actually killed it too. So
yeah,
realistically, Mickie.
Depending on how this game draws its ratings, because it might have made for a better viewing experience if the women were a little earlier in the night, just to break up that string of stinker matches in the middle. The crowd liked them.
I genuinely thought that...
But there were like 3 bad matches in a row.
I genuinely thought that match was going to stink too, so that's why it was put in its spot. But because I thought Ashley would drag it down, but she pulled her weight, which I'm happy to see.
Apparently, modders for this game
are nicer than
more respect modders for women.
Apparently, because so far,
because that's a chronic problem with TW mods, that the women tend to be undervalued.
Yeah, and there's no like appropriate scaling for the time period as well, and like these older mods either. So
no, I mean that's just the nature of the game, that it's designed to work in a modern environment.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, good. If this was a real show, I'd probably give Mickie my MVP just for doing so well for 2006 women's segments. She killed it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we had some stinkers. I'm glad we are reestablishing Randy Orton though as the Legend Killer.
Yeah. We didn't have any real stinkers because the matches that sucked in ring, the crowd were super into.
Yeah. So overall, we can be happy about everything, even Imposter Kane. So
yeah, like the crowd actually liked that. I hated it, but I hated real Imposter Kane too.
Yeah, and I will continue to have you on as the hater of imposters. But
you're not wrong. There has never been an imposter gimmick in wrestling that I've liked.
Yeah, fair enough. Tune in next time when Charlie Haas debuts his imposter gimmick early. And I'm just kidding. Anyway.
Fuck you. I'm done. Next week you have Dan on there and you're having to explain why Macho Man isn't wrestling in every match.
After Charlie's performance tonight, I don't know what I'm going to do with him. We'll see. Anyways.
Probably what the real WWE did with him.
Forget about him.
Yeah, because if he couldn't have a good match with Shelton, that's kind of scary.
And with the history between them, too.
Yeah, I might give him one more match, just like on Heat, just to see if it was like a bad night or something, or if he just has like no chemistry with Shelton.
To be fair, I had to steal the show, and that might have been the factor that screwed Charlie. So
yeah, maybe try him in an.
I'll test him in a regular match.
Regular match and see how he is. because I refuse to believe that Charlie Haas is that bad. You should be able to do something with him. Yeah, you should be able to do something with him.
If anything, he's just not over. He's a very solid wrestler at this time.
Yeah, like that's the thing. His lack of overness doesn't surprise me, but the 1.5 star match between those two. Yeah,
no, that's no way.
But that match should have been pushing the main event for match quality.
It should have. That's why I had it open the show. So that was actually one of the biggest disappointments of the night, possibly the biggest disappointment. Actually, I had faith in
it was the biggest disappointment for me because the other stuff that was like bad in ring,
yeah,
we knew was going to be bad in ring because you're like Luke Gallows and Kane. Yeah, that's going to be bad.
Yeah, but exactly.
You don't expect the world's greatest tag team to be bad.
No, you don't. So, tune in next time where we will see Heat and Monday Night Raw take place. In terms of the contents of Monday Night Raw, well, what did we learn is going to be on Raw as of tonight for Vengeance, when I say tonight. We learned DX is going to hold a celebration. Randy is kind of reestablishing himself as the legend killer, and Bret Hart's was kind of like, let's solve this and every night. So we'll probably get some continuation off of that, let's be honest.
No doubt.
And
I'm picturing for the DX celebration like that barbecue they had in 06 in real life.
Yeah, it'll probably be something similar. Is there anything else I can really tease right away? I mean, there's a chance we hear from Mickie tomorrow. We'll see.
Mickey's probably going to want to...
She'll probably want some time
say
on
something.
The weekly show.
And she was threatening to show up on SmackDown, so it's entirely possible that Stacy shows up first to preempt that.
True. Especially since she's the one that set the standard. She's going to her branded show and going to Great American Bash, so we'll see what happens there. And, I mean, who will we see come out of that main event?
We're probably going to hear from Steamboat.
I think, yeah, we are hearing from Steamboat for sure. That was the continuation off the Randy stuff. We will certainly see Steamboat tomorrow night in Raw. So, I feel like after that hard-fought main event, not all three competitors are going to make Raw tomorrow night, but I think we'll see the winner, Rob Van Dam, come to Raw and grace us with his presence as the dual champion. So, stay tuned.
Don't let him drive there with Sabu.
Thank God Sabu wasn't on this show. We're safe. Anyways, we will see you all for episode 6 of this series. And we hope you enjoy this.
Have a good one, everyone.
Hope you're enjoying this series. And hopefully I'm satisfying with the creative vision so far for 2006. Anyways, we will see you next time. Like, subscribe, comment, and share if you'd like to. And peace out.